I'm inside and I saw From Russia with Love. It is directed by Terrence Young, written by Richard Maybaum, and if you haven't seen this movie, I will spoil it for you. This movie starts when we're following Spectre being very mad that James Bond killed one of the guys from last movie, and so they're trying to set him up in a trap. What I like about James Bond is that these people know that James Bond will know that this is a trap, but they also know that James Bond will want to walk directly into a trap because he knows that it's a trap, that he wants a challenge. That's what I love about James Bond. So James Bond, he's like doing the whole moves like, oh, I'm in a trap. Oh no, crazy. I didn't see this coming from anywhere. So there's also this chick, right, who's kind of hanging out with him the entire time. Now these people, it's not Spectre directly in this movie. It's actually this Russian branch of government that's working for Spectre. Nobody really knows that this Russian branch is working for Spectre, including this chick who is deployed to hang out with James Bond pretty much the entire time of the movie. There is a moment, right, where James Bond gets suspicious of her and starts slapping her. I'm like, dude, this is so cool. Oh my goodness, James Bond. When you confront what you perceive as an enemy, you just decide to slap him. Later on, reveal that this chick didn't even know that she was working for Spectre. She's working for Mother Russia, and she loves Mother Russia, so James Bond shouldn't be slapping her, silly. And I don't know if James Bond ever apologizes. I don't remember him apologizing one bit. No, he's not an apologetic fellow. The entire time, James is trying to get to the Lecter, and he thinks that the chick that he's hanging out with is the trick to get the Lecter. And then when he figures out the chick is not really the way to get the Lecter, but instead you got some shady business dealings with Spectre and some other guys, and James Bond has to steal the Lecter from those guys. And then he does, and he has sex with her on a boat, and it's pretty neat. Oh boy, this From Russia with Love, I told you basically what happened, but I really feel you just have to watch the movie if you haven't seen the movie. The way that everything is set up is just so expert tier. The very 41st minutes of the movie is just set up for the last half of the movie. First 40 minutes, he gets his little cool little gadgets. I especially like the suitcase because it's very specific on which way you have to turn the little knobs at the top, or else something will explode. And it's pretty great. In this movie, James Bond has sex with 5 different chicks. 6 times, but one of the chicks is 2 times. And also he has sex with 2 chicks at once at some point. And I'm like, yo, get him. There is a point where James Bond has to determine which 2 chicks won this fight that they're having in order to fight for a man, and he's supposed to decide why. Who gave him the role? Who gave him the permission to decide? Well, I know actually who gave him the permission. It was like somebody high up in that village. How much history does James Bond and this guy have to the point where this guy is going to appoint James Bond as somebody to decide who won? Oh boy. So this movie, there's a lot of shooting, a lot of fun gun violence stuff, a lot of different types of stuff happening in this movie, from like chicks fighting each other to like trains. There's a lot of train in this movie. I like this movie having a lot of trains. I like how James Bond is sitting in a train a lot, and I feel like the final conflict happens in the train. Not the final conflict, like the climax conflict, and then there's the conflict that happens after the climax where it's like, well, the enemy is actually not down yet because of rules. It's kind of like horror movie rules in that way. Nobody is actually truly down in a James Bond movie unless he shoots them. And then, yeah, he just has sex with that lady at the end. This is a fun movie. I quite enjoyed it. It's very vibrant in color. This movie is a lot less vibrant than Dr. No, but I do like the color palette. There's more of like fixed color palette, more of a like intentional color palette, versus the last one is just kind of like nature or whatever. This one, there's a lot of blues, there's a decent amount of oranges, and all the people are wearing colors that support this. And then of course greens with like the background and all that fun jazz. Not a ton of color palette deviation in this movie, which I appreciate. And also Sean Connery is a great James Bond. I like him. He's suave. Those one-liners, man. How? Oh man. I think those one-liners would get me as a woman if he used one of those one-liners on me that Sean Connery's James Bond does on his women that he frequently has sex with. That would work on me. Use those one-liners if you haven't to pick up a chick. What do you think of From Russia with Love? Let me know what you think of it in the comments below. Who is your favorite James Bond movie? Who is your favorite James Bond? I gotta give this, it's a 7.67 out of 10. If you like this review, watch another one on the platform who likes that $20 Dino. So patreon.com/ASEPresents for 1 movie review per 1 month. Go to Slowly Treat to support the daily grindiness of all them daily movie reviews. So you can go here. And until next time, Mint Salad Saw, I'll see you later, my salad croutons and bacon bits. And off to Russia I go. Adios.